creating users, creating profiles, and validation rules, and making pick list like this thing. I'm not sure about the triggers that much, but I have a little bit idea about triggers. And I create like accessing like what means the user creating accessing roles, and then what then?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are not familiar with the developer parts, you are saying?
Yeah, I'm not that much familiar with developing, but just I'm creating how to create Visual Force trigger, and just use pull out the data from store. I mean sandboxes like that. I'm
Okay.
not sure about codes like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So I
I
will,
mean like relationships also.
yeah.
Yeah, look up relationships, master data relationships, and creating tabs. Yeah, that's it, I think.
So
Yeah,
these things you know
and
already.
creating reports.
Okay. So
Yeah,
what's
I
the
know the
difference between lookup and master detail?
lookup. Lookup is nothing but is a loosely coupled relationship. There is no effect on when we. I mean, when we delete the parent record, there is no effect on child record. Is a master data is nothing but the tightly coupled relationship. When we delete the master data, when we detailed, sorry, when we delete master, it's automatically delete the child too.
Okay. So you are basically trying for Salesforce admin related jobs or a developer also?
Developer too.
Developer too. Okay. Um, do you know about
Right now,
Apex Visual Force usage? So for what reason we'll use the Apex code and what reason we'll use Visual Force purpose?
no, I'm
Uh,
not familiar with developer things.
okay. Okay. So let me explain so how the so how your job responsibilities will be there. So in the organization. So in related to Salesforce here. Salesforce has a platform. Salesforce CRM is like a package. So whenever you register for Salesforce, the underlying is database.com. So this is a backend database. So for Salesforce CRM, and on that platform will be there. So using which you can customize the things existing setup, and you can develop your custom applications. So with the help of point and click setup options or so developing things, technologies like Apex, Visual Force, those things. Okay, SOQL, SOSL, APIs, other things. And there will be charter application. So it is the internal communicator. So users can exchange messages
Like
and
Facebook.
yeah, yeah, come again.
I mean, it's like Facebook, Twitter, like that, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, so it's like
Yeah, okay.
yeah, same Facebook like timeline will be there. So there, so someone can greet and about the task. So whenever someone use the keywords, so related person will be updated about that, alerted about that activity, and they can get help easily through this communicator. And above all, CRM applications, sales, marketing, your custom applications will be there. Okay. So this is the package. So here, so your activities related to CRM applications mostly, and force.com related activities. As I told, in two approaches, you can customize the things or you can develop the things in Salesforce. So one is a declarative option. So with this, point and click setup will be there. So with the help of point and click setup, so you will do all the customizations required for your applications, and you will develop the applications, your custom application. And so all the things like app creation, workflow rule creation, report building, usage of Schema Builder, and data import export wizards. So all are come under this declarative features options we have. Okay, so this requires no coding skills. So without anything, so with small formulas and criterias, you can build these things. User creation, sharing setting options, everything will come under this. The other one is a programmatic approach. Programmatic approach. Coming to programmatic, so it is so when it is required, when declarative
Hello,
option.
Srinivas.
Yeah, please.
One second. యోగి రికార్డ్ చేసుకున్న సెషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేశారు రికార్డింగ్.
యా రికార్డ్ చేస్తానండి. బట్ ఇది నేను ఫోన్ లో కనెక్ట్ అయిన రికార్డ్ అయిద్దా?
My side I am recording. Okay, I will share the recording later on.
Yeah, sure thing. Because I was connected by phone, so I'm not sure about this recording. So
I don't think that is an issue. So it will be recorded surely. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is the thing. So in declarative, we have the options. So with those options, with those different tools, we can develop. So when it is, that is a flexible way and the easiest way of customizing, developing things. And coming to programmatic, to work with the complex operations. For example, so validation rule. So validation rule is a existing feature, declarative feature. So on one object, you can apply the validation rule, so that whenever that incorrect value is entered for a field, then it will raise a error. That is validation rule at the time of creating. So it will trigger the error if it is incorrect as per that rule. So that is applicable to one object. So in a programmatic approach, we have the triggers, apex triggers. So same validation rule, if you want to apply on a number of objects, related things. For example, something happened in account record. So validation rule must take place in another object, contact object. Okay, so this is incorrect.
So
that is complex.
So this means that sorry for this. But in declarative method, we can apply validation rule only on one object, right?
Yes, that applicable to only one object.
So in the programmatic approach, it is applicable to all the objects, right?
Yeah, means related objects. On any object you can apply. Validation rule applicable to any object, but limited to one object. In declarative approach, it is applicable to any object, any type of object, but that object only. On which object you are creating, so to that object only it will be limited. Okay. So object related validation rules. So whatever the object you are picking, that related validation rule that will be. not applicable to other object. So taking other object related conditions, you cannot create the validation rule for this object. That is declarative limitation. Okay, so programmatic, it's there is no limit for that. So you can create on any object, the trigger related to any object, and validation you can perform on another object, some other object. Okay, if required. So that is complex operation. Okay, which is not supported by declarative option, declarative setup. So for that reason, we'll go for programmatic approach. So first our approach is declarative approach. We'll look for easiest way to do the things. When it is fails, when there is a limit for that, so that you will go to the declarative feature and we'll customize that one or we'll develop that one. Okay. So that's why whenever your company register for Salesforce, it will be like this package. So on that force.com platform. So as a Salesforce administrator or developer, we'll do the things in two approaches, declarative approach, programmatic approach. If you clear this, so up to 20% of the task will be completed. Then after Salesforce related additions, so where we'll write, where we'll do Apex to run. Okay, here Salesforce editions are there, different editions are there.
Developer Pro.
Yeah. Developer edition.
Developer Pro. And two more things. Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah. Forgot unlimited edition.
Okay, like that.
It's like sandbox.
Yeah.
Full sandbox, partial sandbox. Developer sandbox. Developer Pro sandbox.
Okay. So itself is a sandbox as well as a production interface. So developer edition itself is the sandbox as production interface. So whenever, and it is free of cost. So you can write the Apex here in this. So but rest of the editions, rest of the packages, so we'll have two different interfaces. So one is production live users environment and other one is a sandbox interface for developing purpose. Okay, so that later on you need to move the data, the developed and tested packages into production interface. So that is the thing. In the sandbox interfaces, you need to develop Apex. Okay. So this you need to remember about Apex, where to develop Apex. And so in all sandbox interfaces, you will develop the Apex. And then so that activity moving of data from sandbox to other sandbox or sandbox to production is deployment. Okay, the developed things you will deploy to production interface finally. And Salesforce has two user interfaces. So one is a Salesforce Classic
and Lightning.
Yeah. Lightning experience. So this Lightning experience is advanced user interface to Salesforce Classic. So now every component, every feature existed in Salesforce Classic. So with the help of say Lightning components, so they are migrating to Lightning experience. Okay, so that you need to remember. So whenever you register, so in Lightning experience mode only, account will be created. Now you need to switch back to Salesforce Classic and you can practice. Okay, and yeah, just a moment. Okay, so what is app? Salesforce app. What are the different types of apps we can create?
Then that means that what we need to, it means that for application purpose, we need accounts, charter, and this type of tab come under apps.
Okay. Okay, I will explain from application building onwards. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So applications in Salesforce two types. Either console application user can build or custom type application. Okay. To create the applications, we have the options quick start, new app option declaratively. So that quick start it takes only three details. What should be the app label, what should be the object label, and application label, object tab label, so that your application will be ready. So with the help of Salesforce only. Okay, 90% of the task will be done by Salesforce. So coming to navigation, you can set up label, application label, and custom app logo, and then you can set up the user visibility for that application and which tabs to be appeared on the application, and then you can set the default landing tab for your application. Then you can create. That is step-by-step process. In step-by-step process only you can create console application, but in custom app type application you can use both options, quick start, new app options. Okay, so coming to object, so that is one of the application building blocks we have. App, object. So your CRM data saved in the form of records in the object. So two types of objects, standard as well as custom objects we have.
Customer.
Yeah. So custom object will be indicated with double underscore C in its API name, so that you can so understood this that this is custom object. Okay. So standard object will be almost label and name both will be saved for standard object. So out of the box object, that is. And so when object is created, so three things will be ready automatically. So virtual database table, page layout, permission set. Okay. So with the help of page layout, only you can create new records or you can import the data from external.csv file later on, and those created records will goes to the virtual database table. And so page layout contains different types of fields: standard fields, custom fields. Standard fields like record ID and record name, owner, created date, created by whom,
Yeah.
yeah, last modified by, last modified date, other things. So those are standard fields, and custom fields, user defined fields. To define new field, you need data type. Data types in different categories: text related data types, numeric fields, field types, calendar data types, limited options data types. Okay. And
So what's
then
the limited up?
limited options are checkbox, pick list, multi-select. These are
Yes.
limited options. So only what that field allows, those things user can select. User cannot edit value extra. Okay. So for example, pick list. Only from the pick list values user can select one value. So that is a limited option. Checkbox. Checkbox user can check or uncheck.
Once click for uncheck.
Yeah. Only those check or uncheck permitted by that field, like that. Okay. So these are the different field types using those different categories of field. So again, in each category we have so more than 3 field types. Okay. For example, if you take relationship field types, to form the relationships between objects and their records, lookup, master detail, external lookup we have. Okay. So lookup forms loosely coupled relationship, so that without parent reference also child can be created. So whatever you know child has a ownership, and child may have independent sharing settings. So there is no tight bonding between parent and child. And when parent deleted, nothing will happen to child in that lookup case. And maximum 25 lookup relationships we
25.
can create per custom object.
Master detail only tool, right?
Yeah. Like that, so master detail forms a strong relationship. So maximum 2 we can create per object. And the
Yeah.
object which has 2 master detail fields on it is called as junction object. And cascading delete operation applicable to child records. That means whenever parent record deleted, associated childs
Child also
also
deleted.
forcefully deleted by the system. And when the parent undeleted from recycle bin, automatically childs also get life. That is cascade delete operation. Okay. And
Yeah.
then external lookup. So to connect to one internal object with another externally located object, so you can use that external lookup option. Okay. So for that you need to create external object in your Salesforce organization. So connecting to that external object, you can relate, you can form the external lookup option. Then after, so like that, different data types or field types you can use. So all those fields that you created using those field types, attach it to the page layout. Okay. So that this is part of the object, and also called as a record form. Okay. So this page layout has 2 modes: edit mode, details mode. So what should be in edit mode? You can see only editable fields, student name, so editable one.
So what is OWD rules?
Yeah.
It's like OWD rules, right?
Not like that.
OWD rules.
This is different. This is user interface, right? Page layout is. You are saying about sharing settings, OWD. Okay. So here these are modes. Modes in the page layout we have. Editable mode, edit mode, details mode. In edit mode, you can see editable fields only. Any user, editable fields. Details mode, all fields along with the related list information you can see. All types of fields. All types means read-only fields also comes. So what are read-only field types? Calculation field types. Calculation field types are formula, roll-up summary fields, auto number fields. So at the time defining them, you need to specify the calculation part for them. Auto number. So what should be the order in which the numbering should be done? From which starting numbering should be done? Okay. So you will specify in that order for every record creation that will generate. User not entering there. That will automatically generate. That is auto number. Read only type. Same formula also. Roll up summary also. So what is the purpose of roll up summary? Roll up summary fields. Master detail. So on master object you can use roll up summary to calculate information about child objects, child records. Like it's how many childs that selected parent record has. So with the help of roll up summary you can find out. And maximum value, minimum value of a particular field. Okay, from all the child records. And sum of a particular field value. Yeah, roll up summary. Let's see. Okay. So then after
Yeah.
field dependencies. Have you seen about field dependencies?
Yeah, it's like pick list. Once we select, India, then after states and cities, like that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So what are the supportable field types for that? As controlling field and dependence fields. Supportable data types for controlling field set.
Just I read about the field
Okay.
dependency, how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Checkbox and pick list you can use as controlling field, and pick list multi-select you can use as dependent field. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, for example,
I'm getting some discussion.
yeah, now also.
Hello, Vijay. Yeah, it's good now.
Okay, I think that is hands-on.
Okay.
So let me take one object. Yeah, Manu, are you getting, or so any confusion? Please let me know.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. I'm following.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so these are lookup type, right? So these two are lookup type, and candidate so is of master detail type here. Candidate record. So roll up summary applicable to master object in master detail relationship. So on child related information you can calculate summary values. So let me open that candidate object. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm accessing one record, existing candidate record. So this type of fields are roll-up summary fields. These are roll-up summary fields. One gives the count of child records that the selected parent record has, and another one gives the sum of salary field value from all child records that it has. So we have two child records for this parent. Okay, and those two have 45,000 and 5,000 salary information. So this is the list, related list. You can see here one has 45,000 and another one has 5,000.
And
So
5,000.
yeah, that roll up
Both
summary.
are together like.
Yes, yes. So there we selected the function sum of salary. So from this object,
Number of employees.
okay, number of childs 2. So that is the count function. So this is with the help of count, this value returns, and this is the sum of salary. Okay, and also other values, minimum, maximum, also there. So you can calculate. Okay, to calculate summary, the sum, the field must be either number, currency, or percentage type. Only that numeric field types we can calculate its sum. And then to calculate minimum value, maximum value, the field must either belongs to numeric field types group or calendar field types group. So calendar field types means date time format comes.
That
Okay. So created date, last modified date also included in that list always. So because those are standard fields. So that is the thing. So field dependencies, one field value depends upon another field value. Okay. So there will be controlling field, depending field. Controlling field can be either checkbox or pick list. Depending field can be either pick list or multi-select pick list. Those are the supportable things. Then after formula field, so that is a read-only type. To create a formula, so we have two editors, simple formula editor, advanced formula editor, those things. In advanced formula editor, we can also use the predefined functions. Okay, so predefined functions like calendar functions, number related numeric functions. Just a moment. Yeah, sorry for that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we are discussing?
Field dependency.
Okay.
Supporting.
Yeah. Formula field creation, right? So
Yes.
there you can use different functions and also input field. Okay, from the same object or parent object, and then different operators, plus, minus, other operators you can use. And then so object relationships. So we can form 4 different relationships between objects. Okay. So parent to child. So when they ask about relationships, you need to answer like this. So objects, relationships, and relationships exist between record. Their records are 4. Parent to child, one to many, many to many. Self or hierarchy relationship. This hierarchy name we will use if the relationship, self relationship formed on the user object. So for user object, this name should be used, user. For the other objects, if the same self relationship, then you will use directly self relationship. So that is the thing. So parent to child, one to one type. One record has a related other record in another object. So one to many means one parent record has multiple child records in another object. Many to many means so many records
It has
connected
so
with,
many.
yeah, yes.
Many to
So
many means it's having more records, more to more.
yes, here junction object to be used. Here junction object concept comes, and also two master detail relationships. That is the difference here. So lookup master detail can be used to form parent to child, one to many, and external lookup also can be used here to form the one to many. So coming to many, two master detail relationships to be used. Okay, and that object is called as junction object, which has two master detail fields on it. Is junction object. So which actually helps to form many to many relationship. Self or hierarchy. So using lookup, you can form this self relationship. That means, for example, manager field on user record form. That is a lookup relationship only, self relationship, hierarchy relationship. So manager again user only, existing user from the same object. But you are creating user record. At the time creating user record, you are referring manager. That is self relationship. So again you are referring the records related to same object. Okay. So that is the thing. And you need to consider, so at the time creating relationship field, so master detail requires child object to be empty. So then only you can form the master detail relationship. Otherwise you cannot create master detail. So still you want to form master detail though the object is not empty. So then with the help of lookup to master detail conversion mechanism, you can form master detail. Got it? So always on empty object you can create master detail field. On empty object, so master detail field can be, relationship field can be created. Otherwise If object is not empty, then using the lookup to master detail conversion mechanism, you can form master detail. So that you need to remember. And you know the steps, lookup to master detail conversion steps.
I did a long time ago.
Okay. So first you need to create, you need to form lookup relationship. Then after, so open each record on a child object and so put a value in that. That means refer parent mandatorily. Then after change the data type. Those are the steps. First create lookup field, then so refer parent value for that in that lookup field, then go to the field lookup field, change the data type to master detail. That is the lookup to master detail conversion. And then so page layout, different layouts we have in Salesforce. So one is a page layout, nothing but record form. So this means record form. Okay, to customize this, so we have page layout editor. So with the help of page layout editor, so we can customize this. So using page layout editor, we can customize, we can organize the fields arrangement on the record form. So wherever you want to place any field, so you can place it in any section. You can create new section if required, and you can make a field required or read only if the field is optional. Okay. So and also you can customize related list, which fields to be appeared in that particular related list. That also you can set. So that is about page layout editor, record form. Other one is mini page layout. So mini page layout is a record preview. Record preview. To customize the record preview, we'll use the mini page layout. So we'll go to mini page layout of that object. Then you can customize it. So where you can see this preview in the recent items. In the recent items list, you can see the preview like this. So whenever you place the cursor, the preview opens, pop up. This is the preview. To customize this, we'll use mini page layout. You need to edit in that mini page layout related to that object. Here the object is candidate object. So you need to go to the candidate page layout. There mini page layout option will be there. You can edit that one to customize this view. Then after we have the different search layouts. Search layouts are nothing but other areas where you can see record information. So you can see record information on the page layout. So and also in mini page layout already. Other than these two areas, so where in which places you can see, you can also see the record information. So those are search layouts. Different search layouts we have: search results, object tab view, object list view, and lookup dialogues, lookup phone dialogues. So these are all different areas where you can see the record information only. So whenever user clicks on any object tab, the opened view is object tab view. So this is the object tab view. If you want to customize this, which field and in which arrangement order, so you can use, you need to edit this object related search layouts. So in that list of search layouts, you need to edit object tab view, account tab view. So with the object name, that options will be there. So list view means these are all list views. So you want to create a new list view, you can create. You want to edit this, you can edit. Click on go, then only it opens that list view. This is the list view. Earlier one is object tab view, this is list view. You want to edit this list view, you can edit here. Okay. And you want to delete, you can delete. You want to create new, you can create. For what reasons? Today's records. So in that list view, we'll apply the condition, related condition, to get only today's records created today. No record created today. Okay. So last week, new this week. Records created this week only. No record created this week. Like that.
Yeah.
Last week records. My records. Accounts owned by myself. Okay, for all these
Yeah.
records, myself is the owner. Like that. Recently viewed records.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, if we delete, I mean, if the records says that, if we delete that one, it will delete all the records or just that record?
Here we cannot delete bulk records from this list view. So there is no bulk record option here. So if you want to delete, you need to click on this delete link. You cannot select multiple.
We'll delete only one by one.
Yeah, one by one you can delete from this list view. To delete records in bulk operation, we have different ways. Okay. So data cleansing options are there. So bulk records you can delete by taking a condition. So you can select all records with that condition and you can delete. Okay, mass delete operation, mass delete option. So for that, go to setup. So in the quick find, quick search box, search for mass delete. Okay, mass delete records. So it works only for specific objects, not for every object. This inbuilt feature. So for these objects only you can use this for mass delete, bulk delete. So for example, you want to delete account records. So take the records with a condition. So account name contains test. These many records, I have test in that account name field. You can see here test like. Okay, so you want to delete all these things, select here. And if you want to delete permanently, you can select this option. So if you are not selecting this option, then what happens? Temporarily this will get deleted, and it will all these removed fields, removed records, move to recycle bin, and there up to 15 days. Okay, so they will exist there. And before that, if you want to undelete, then you can undelete them. Otherwise, permanently gets deleted. Okay. So delete, temporarily delete. So deleted. Deleted all those selected records. So that is the thing. Okay, now only one record with that test value with this condition, only one record. This is the one record. Got it? So then,
Yeah.
so from the recycle bin, you can select again. So this is the recycle bin. When you switch to other application, you can
Open
see
recycle.
that, yeah, you can see those deleted records appearing here. And if you want to undelete, you can select and click on undelete. So that will be undeletes all the selected records. So that is the thing. Okay. So like that you can mass delete records. The other one is so using data import export wizards also you can do that mass delete. Okay. So we have data import export tools like Apex data loader, dataloader.io. Those tools are there. So there how you can delete. So first you need to create a .csv file. So there you need to put all the record IDs. Those are needs to be deleted in a column. And so after selecting the delete task and which object you need to so pass that sheet, upload that sheet. So IDs related to that object, selected object in that sheet are going to be deleted finally. Okay, so that is the mass delete. So that applicable for every object. So whereas this mass delete function applicable only to standard objects, that to limited standard objects. So that's why if you want to delete records in bulk for the data cleansing activities, so you can either use Apex data loader tool or dataloader.io online application. Okay, so this dataloader.io is developed by MuleSoft, third party application.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Just a moment.
I think it's the microphone.
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah, it's so fan is near me, so that's why.
Oh,
So due to that air.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So from this tool you can do the activities. So import, export, delete operations you can perform.
Okay.
Okay. So here delete. So you want to delete the mass records. So for that delete. So which object related records you want to delete? Select that particular object. Then next. So upload that CSV file. So in that CSV file you must already mention record IDs under one column. So in the next step you need to refer that column. Select that column. So then mapping. So then that column should map it with the Salesforce record ID. Then run this operation. So all those mentioned record IDs in that sheet are going to be deleted. That is the thing.
Okay.
So one object at a time you can perform this cleansing activity. So that object related record ID is only to be mentioned in that sheet. That you need to remember. Okay. So that is MuleSoft related data loader.io file. So where IO means input output. Okay. Search layouts. So different search layouts where different record IDs, record details, you can see which columns you wanted to see, so that you can customize using this search layouts option. Okay. So then after organization administration we have. So in the organization administration, things like user creation, so you can create a user, so one user at a time or up to 10 users at a time. Also profile, so profile is nothing but it's a template, so where application related, system related permissions are there, so that what user can access, okay, so with which level of accessibility, and when user can log into Salesforce, from which IP address they can log in. So when password should gets logged, after how many login attempts, wrong password attempts, and that time who should help the user to get his password reset. So everything will be mentioned in a profile. So which applications user can access, object related, which permissions, whether user permitted to view the records, create new records, edit records, delete records, share with others or not. So all such permissions will be mentioned in a profile, and a profile is mandatory to create user, and profile is associated with the license you are applying to that user. Licenses given by Salesforce along with the package you purchased. Okay. So these many admin licenses, these many standard user licenses, like that Salesforce defines, and as per that Salesforce CRM access will be depends upon this license. So what is the position in the organization of a particular user? In which role user working in the organization? Okay. Who is his subordinate and who is his superior? Everything will be defined by this role. In addition to that, special permission will be there. So provide access using hierarchies, role hierarchy. So on the subordinate records, superiors will get access unconditionally. So if someone share records with you, your superior automatically gets access, view access at least. That is grant access using hierarchy option. So special permission that applicable only to role here. Then after approver. So in approval process, this approver, so concept we have. So there in approval process, so process of streamlining requests. So approver means who able to grant you the permissions, like approving it, rejecting it, or if he is busy, so redirect that to another person in the organization, reassign it. Okay. So approver also a user who able to approve or reject or reassign the request. And so public group, queue. Okay. So public group, queue, both are a group of users only, but here public group purpose is to share records or to share report folders, dashboard folders with a group of users. Okay, without depending upon their role, without depending so their profiles, you can share with any person in your organization. That is public group. Okay, so at the time creating, you can take individuals, so users in a particular role, users in another public group, to create a public group. So their skill set not required here, whereas a skill set is required for queue creation. So queue requires same skilled persons, so that whenever one request comes in, so all that queue members will be alerted about that. So it increases the responsibility of completing a task. Queue is. So whereas public group has no specific action. Okay. So but queue is a work sharing related thing. So it can have specific email, queue email. Yeah. That is a
Yeah.
public group and queue. So maintaining all these things come under this organization administration. And so workflow rules. So triggering the actions automatically. So this workflow rule. So in that you can trigger actions immediately or time dependent. So at a particular time you can trigger the actions. So if it is immediately, so whenever that workflow rule satisfy all the conditions like evaluation criteria and workflow criteria, then immediately the actions will be triggered. Otherwise, so it will wait for the time in the future.
And after it will trigger.
Yeah. And that time
When
too
it
it
met
will,
the criteria,
yes. That time too it will
when
check.
it met the, oh,
Sorry.
sorry. I mean, when it met the criteria, it will automatically trigger.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention the
Time
point.
dependent.
That time also it will check whether the workflow rule is active or not. Okay, this you need to remember. So though it is meeting the criteria in the future, if that time workflow is inactive, then it is not going to trigger the actions. Okay,
Okay.
that is the thing. So it is important interview question too.
It will notify us the criteria is not met, or it just will not trigger.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. So workflow rule.
I mean,
Hmm.
when
Let
after
me.
some time the time is come to the trigger that rule, the criteria is not met. It's not the trigger the rule, and it will notify us, right?
Hmm. Yeah, here active. That must be active. Okay. So based on activeness, it will trigger or not trigger. That depends. Should be active. Trigger must be. And okay. So we have 4 actions: task assignment, email alert. So whereas email alert requires email template, so 4 different email templates you can create, so that data dynamically so on its own prepared and sent. Okay, data on the email body on the email template, so will be prepared at the time triggering the email alert, then that will be sent. So for that reason we'll create the email template. So there we'll use merge field. So merge field requires object API, field API name. So with the help of that reference, so the value will be retrieved from the record based on the record ID. Okay, so that is the merge field concept, and that is to dynamically get the details direct from the record. We will use that merge field, and to send the mass email messages, we'll use those email templates. You can also use the letterheads. Okay, and also you can use the HTML tags along with the merge fields in your email body creation. Okay, so that is about workflow rules and triggering the email alerts. And then, so in approval process, just a moment, outside noise. Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah. So approval processes, in approval processes, we can streamline. So that means, so whenever someone request for something, so whenever someone submit a record, so who should get that request and who should approve it or reject it. Okay. So for example, so you can take any real-time scenario. For example, like bank clerk and bank manager. Okay, and also customer. So whenever customer approaches bank to withdraw money, so he will hand over that request form to clerk. So that is a request. So clerk can verify the details, and if all are correct, they can grant the money. So that is approving it. So again, that approved money will be received by customer. So here also in approval process, so whether to move forward or not, so he will request for on something on one record. Okay, any person that will be received by approver, and he will take action on that. Then based on that, he will proceed to approve to move forward or not. So otherwise, in another step, what happens? Clerk submit the request to manager. Then what happens? Manager also should look into that. So before taking forward. and he will grant the amount. If the amount is a large amount, so then clerk not having enough rights, so he will move that request to manager, and he is going to grant that permission. Okay, like that. That is the approval process. Two types of approval process we have in Salesforce. First, response based, unanimous approval process. First response based means when multiple approvers are there, so when that will be final status will be decided. Okay, so whenever first approver, any approver approves it for the first time, that first response will be taken into consideration and that will be finally considered as approved or rejected. Otherwise, unanimous process, say multiple approvers are there for a record and that record is submitted for approval. So request will send to all approvers, mail will be sent, and everyone must respond on that. Otherwise that will be pending status. Okay, and if that should be approved, everyone must positively respond on that request. Otherwise that will be ultimately rejected, and that too that will be finalized after getting all approvals. Okay, from all approvers, like that approval process. So we have, and then so in approval process also workflow rules are used. Okay, in approval process also at different stages, like initial submission stage, okay, final rejection stage, final approval stage, final rejection, recall stage. These are the different stages. So record will be there in any one stage in the approval process. So that related actions, workflow actions you can trigger in each stage. So what should happen when record enters submission stage? What should happen if finally approved? What should happen if finally rejected? When recalled by the submitter itself. Two characters will be there, submitter, approver, in that. Okay, and then so providing internal security, that is a sharing settings. Sharing settings.
Sir, your voice is broken.
Yeah.
Your voice is breaking.
Oh. Now also?
And now it's good.
Okay. So in this sharing setting, we have different options like so org-wide default settings, OWD settings. So these are the basic level of security for your organization data. So everyone will be having this as common permissions. Above these, overriding these or extending the permissions. So we have other settings, other options like profile settings, permission sets, field visibility settings. Okay, like this, and also record sharing rules, manual sharing of records, So OWD, we can set object level. So object, what type of accessibility, public read only, public read write. So an object user has what type of setting? Private, public read only, public read write. So if it is private, others cannot access your records. You cannot access others' record. That is private. So both are accessing same object, but your records only you can access. Other can access his records only. If it is public read only, so both of you has access. So on other records, you have view access. On your records, automatically you will be having full access, full permissions. Full permissions means you can create, you can edit, you can delete, you can share with.
Sure.
Okay, you can share the records with others. That is a full access. Owners has a full access, special permissions. Others has view permission in public read only. Okay, I want to access a record created by user 1 in my organization. I can access, but I cannot edit because I am not the owner for that record. And due to this OWD setting is read only, so I can see that record. That is the thing. So read write means I can also edit that record, access the record. So here by default setting is public read write. This is the default setting. This is important. In interview point of view, this type of questions they will ask. What is the default setting in OWD? Public read write. Whenever new object is created, public read write will be set by default in OWD. And you want to enable manual sharing. So manual sharing means owner can share with. That is manual sharing with the help of button click. Sharing button will be there on record. So because owner has a private means full access due to the OWD setting is private, and so others cannot see his records, so he can share with others manually. That is manual sharing with the help of sharing button. For this OWD you must set as private. By default public read only. You want to enable manual sharing, so first set OWD as private, then manual sharing for that particular object will be enabled. So as a owner of a particular record related to that object, you can share with others. That time you can share, you can take either individual or a role or a public group you can take. And to that public group or to that role, to that user you can share with manually. That time you can choose either read only permission or edit permission you can give to those others you are sharing with. So that is manual sharing. So manual sharing depending upon the OWD settings. OWD setting must be set as private to enable manual sharing. That you need to remember. Then after sharing rules, so criteria based, record owner based, you can share with others. So if someone creates a record, so share me too. That is sharing rules says. Okay, if owner of the record belongs to this particular group, share automatically with this particular users, group users. That is sharing rules. Or if record has condition country equal to India, okay, share with this group. That is sharing rule says. Okay, record based. And field visibility says So you can hide the field from one profile related users. You want to make field editable. You can make field visible only. So three types of visibility settings. You can display the field to a user based on his profile. You can make that field editable for a user by the user, and you can hide the field for a user. Okay, so view, that means read only, editable, hidden. So these are the permissions we have on a field. So using this field visibility, so you can set these things either by selecting a field, and you can check profile wise how it appears, what visibility setting that field has for different users profiles, or you can take a profile and you can see all the selected object related fields, and you can adjust the permissions for that matter. That you can do with this field visibility. And permission set is like add-on pack. So if you purchased you know so if you subscribe for a pack, so mobile phones, mobile networks, that is profile. So it is like a pack. So what is this pack contains? 1 GB per day, 1 GB per day data, and also 100 SMS per day, and unlimited calls. This is the pack. Okay, that is profile. And permission set means it is add-on, extra things, add-on pack. If you want to get 1 GB extra, you can add on. You need to purchase this add-on pack. So that does not affect the pack, existing pack. This will be added extra. So same way here also, profile, permission set. So permission set, profile, both are almost same, but the only thing, to add extra features without making any change in the profile. So if you change the pack, so every feature will be changes for every user who has that pack. But those who purchased the add-on pack, only those users get benefited. Okay, not everyone, those are using pack. So that is the permission set. So if you want to add extra permissions to a user, to that user only you will assign this permission set. So these are to extend the permissions mentioned in the profile, not override. These are to extend the permissions like add-on pack do. Got it? This permission set profile. So that is the thing. So remember that network pack and okay, add-on packs.
Yeah.
That is the thing. Then after lead and case object related, web2 lead, web2 case, forms. Okay. So what these web2 lead, web2 case forms for? To get the leads direct into your lead object or case object. To get the records directly into either lead object or case object from your website. So in Salesforce, we have this option. It generates a code in HTML. That HTML code you will using that in your web page creation, website creation. You will use that code so that a form will be generated on your web page, maybe contact page on your website. So there, if anyone access your website and that page, and they can fill in it and click on submit, they will be redirected to the written URL you mentioned at the time creating this web2 lead or web2 case forms. And you can observe a new lead or new case record in your Salesforce organization with the entered details. That is the web2 lead, web2 case forms for. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Assignment rules. So you can assign user as owner for your record. Whoever creates with a special condition, you will be the owner. So in your organization, different sales representatives are there. They are keep on creating records. In the assignment rule, you mentioned if anyone creates a record with a region EMEA, so I must be the owner for that record. That happens with these assignment rules. So they must select one checkbox. Assign owner for this record using active assignment rules. That is the last checkbox option at the time creating the record, either lead or case record. So if they use that checkbox, so record owner will be as per the active assignment rules. Okay. So assign using active assignment rule. So as per that rule, owner will be set as owner. So by default, logged in user will be the owner for every record you create now. So I am the logged in user here and I will be the owner for every record. But if you create any assignment rule, lead related, so in lead section, you can see this assignment rules option. So I will be not the owner, but someone will, as per that active assignment rule will be the owner. Post create in the record, you can observe that. Okay. That is assignment rules and auto response rules. So auto response rules. Whenever lead record or case record created using web form, web2 lead or web2 case forms. So, and user provides his email address, and this auto response rule trigger email to that person to that email address automatically. So what should be the response that you will already specified in a template that you used for that email triggering purpose. Okay. For example, someone submit the form and they will receive thanks submitting the form, and this is your acknowledge from our side. That is the response template used. So what template to be used as a response, so that you will specify in the auto response rules. For that reason we will use this auto response rules. Okay, so web2 lead, web2 case forms, assignments, rules and auto response rules. And then Schema Builder. So it's a graphical user interface tool.
Yeah.
So using this tool, you can create objects, new objects you can create, new custom fields you can create, and you can form the object relationships. So for that reason, we have this graphical user interface tool. So there you can use the drag and drop options to build these things. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then record type. So record type purpose is to create a setup where, so based on the user profile, the view appears, record view. So directors, whenever director access a record, so they can see more fields. In pick list fields also, more pick list options they can see, pick list values. So using this record type concept, you can control so users availability of the pick list fields for the user profile, and page layout, different page layout can be seen by the user. For example, sales rep, so they can see only few fields and few pick list values, not like not both directors view for the on the same record form same as sales rep view. So both are different here. So that is record type. So to create different business processes, the purpose is to create different business processes. So where different users will see different record view. That is record type. And report type. So report type is a template to select a record set for reporting purpose. There you can add fields from different objects, and using those fields you can build your report. And also you can take records from the included objects, whether only related records, that is with condition from all objects that you included, and the other one is all primary object records, all records from primary object included, primary object selected, and only related records, only related, that means all other related records from other levels, other object levels, that is without condition, with or without condition. So you can also see these terms with or without, so in the labels also, report type labels too. So that means this is the purpose. So that means while building the report, so you must use the report type as input for the report builder tool. So in that report type, you will specify what set of records you are taking. So with means only the intersection of the objects. The records, related records, not the individual records. Here first object record must related with records in another object. Okay, so only that set of records available for your reporting purpose, that you will select. And the second option is so both all records, unconditionally all records available for reporting from first object, primary object. If any related records, fine, so those also will be considered. So this also will be considered, but not related. records in other levels. So with the primary object records, the other level objects records must be related with, otherwise those will be ignored. So this is with or without condition. With or without means primary object records as well as related records in other levels will be considered. So that is the thing. Okay, so report type. So report type purpose is to build the report. So in Salesforce we have the report builder tool. So this is the report builder tool, and your report type will be like this. In that you will specify what combination of objects you are taking. Okay, and that you will pass to report builder tool, so which is split into 3 parts. On the top one, so this is for adding filters. So this is filter span. Report filter span it is, and this is report preview area, preview pane, and this is field span. Okay, so from field span you need to add fields onto the preview pane, and finally you will run the report. Before that, so report means it's a fetching of historically saved data by applying filters. Those filters like only India related data. So in the data there are several countries. You want to take only India data, that to this year data. So those filters you will apply. So different filters you can apply, like add field filter, filter logic, date ranges, and row limit filter, show records filter, like that different options are there. So using them you can set the filter for your report, and then you can finally run the report. That's the thing. And in the preview you can add the report chart, you can sort the data, you can group the data row wise, column wise. If only row wise, that is a summary report. If both rows and column wise, that is matrix report, we say matrix format report. And different report blocks, that is a joint format report. And so the plain report, that is tabular report. So 4 different type formats of reports we have: tabular, summary, matrix, joint format. Okay, so joint format joins different report blocks. So whereas each report block related filters you can apply, you can see common fields, report type related fields in the field span when joint format is built. Different types of charts you can add: vertical bar chart, horizontal bar chart, line chart, donut chart, funnel chart, scatter bar chart. Okay, so like that on the report chart, on the report. Okay, to add chart, that must be other than tabular view. So in a tabular view you cannot add chart. That is the thing. So report dashboard considerations. To create dashboard component, dashboard is nothing but where you place where you can display up to 20 report summaries. That is a dashboard. 2 types of dashboards you can create: a static one, dynamic one. Whereas a static means it's a constant, whoever accesses it, same details appears. Dynamic means it is a it displays based on the user, logged in user. That is dynamic. Okay. So user to user data changes in dynamic dashboard, and limited dynamic dashboards you can create. So based on the Salesforce package you purchased, that depends. And static dashboard is not like that. You can store it in any folder, but dynamic dashboard saved only to the publicly accessible folders, not your private dashboard folder, personal dashboard folder. These are the dashboard considerations. And also, to create dashboard component, the report source report must be, if the source report type is tabular, if tabular, then row limit filter must be applied. Row limit filter must be applied. Otherwise, you cannot use that as a source report for the dashboard component creation. If the source report format you are taking is other than tabular, like summary matrix joined, then there must be chart on it, report chart to be there. Otherwise, that is not applicable, not supportable to create dashboard component. If joined, directly you cannot create dashboard component. You must select use as defined checkbox. Use chart as defined in the source report. So this must be checked. So open the dashboard component options. There select this option. Use chart as defined in the source report. Checkbox. If it is joined format, otherwise no issue. So you can use. Okay. So these considerations you must follow to create dashboard component. Yeah, about data import export activities we already seen. So UI based tools we have data import wizard, data export, and offline application Apex data loader, data import export wizards. While importing the data, you can perform the activities like insert records, update records, upsert records. Okay, insert means new record creation. Update means with the help of record ID, particular updates, modifications can be done. So record ID must be passed, then only update operation done. Upsert means, so mixed data. You are importing new data as well as existing data. So existing data identified by record ID with the help of external ID or record ID. External ID means at the time field creation, if you mark that as a external ID, so based on that value, record exist or not will be identified, and that will be used for updating the record. So that is the thing. Okay. So you can perform both operations at a time. Insert, update operations using upsert function. These are importing activities. Export activities, just exporting data in Excel sheet. And data cleansing operations, deletion. You will apply one condition based records, you can delete. Or you will take record IDs in a sheet, you will pass that record sheet to that operation, those records will be deleted. Okay. So offline application, that is Apex data loader we have. Limitations will be changes. data loader.io, this is our online application. And UI based data import wizard, data export, those are the UI based inbuilt applications. Apex data loader, so up to 50 million records. 50 million records. This also works for 50 million records in one transaction, and UI based tools works up to 50,000 records. Okay, 50,000 records, UI based tools supports. Got it? You can also schedule this activity. So when to perform, at what time, that will be scheduled. So these are the declarative options we have, declarative things you can do with the help of point and click. So as an alternative, so we'll use programmatic things. Okay. So every application maintains three things. There must be model for it. There must be view part. There must be controlling options. Controlling part. Controller. So declarative options for model, we have object, fields, field types, etc. Relationships, object relationships, etc. These are model, data storage related. APIs, bulk API, REST API, SOAP API. Okay, so those are the APIs. Programmatically works to along with the database records. And view part, so page layout, page layouts. Okay, so mini page layout, search layouts, tabs, app menu. These are page layout related, view part related, user interface. User can see the data using this setup. So as an alternative, you can build things in Visualforce technology using Visualforce components, Visualforce pages. Okay. So as an alternative to the standard setup, we will use the things, Visualforce components, those things. And you can replace this standard setup. So controllers. So we have the workflow rules, approval processes, formula fields, validation rules.
Validation rules.
So etc. These are for the purpose of controlling different activities in your application. So we'll build this setup. So as an alternative to that, so we'll use Apex triggers, database triggers. Okay, so using this, it works. Yeah, got it. You want me to explain developer concepts too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we mentioned here, so the programming things, these are programming things. Okay, so
Yes.
in Apex, to build Apex, different tools we'll use developer console, force.com IDE plugin. So this you need to install on Eclipse. You can use this on Eclipse, and you can change the prospective Eclipse application prospective in Forza.com view, and then you can use for Apex development purpose that Eclipse tool. In offline mode, you can work, and then you can, whenever you are online, you can sync the data to online application, your Salesforce. So developer console is an inbuilt tool. So on that you can create Apex classes, Apex triggers, etc. Okay, and UI based. So setup navigation, setup, build, develop. So there you can create Apex classes, those things. These are the options: UI based option, developer console, all those things. Okay. So mainly in Apex classes, so all the development will be in Apex classes and Apex triggers. So whereas class is it's a collection of variables and methods. Okay. So variables and methods. To call these variables methods, we'll use a constructor, object. So object we'll use. Object means here instance of the class. Instance of the class or class variable. So object is nothing but class variable. With the help of class variable, we can call the class members, variables defined inside the class, and methods defined inside the class. Okay. So the logic that you want to trigger, so that you want to execute when a button is clicked or link is clicked. So you will put that logic in method. To implement that logic, you will define required variables of different types. So variables are categorized into data types are categorized into primitive data types, primitives, S object type, Salesforce object type. API names are used here. Salesforce object API names. And then system defined class types or user defined class types. User defined or system defined class types. Classes. Okay. And also collections. Collection data types. List set map. List set map collections. So these are the different data types we have. So in primitives again different data types like record ID, string, okay, and other things like decimal, integer, double, long.
Character.
Sorry?
Character?
Character we don't have.
Oh.
Okay. And also Boolean,
No.
date, date time, time, yeah,
Yes.
like this. Object, object also a data type. So this is the base data type. So what is the base data type? This is the base data type. It supports accessing, assigning any data. It accepts any data. Okay,
Yeah, that's
this is the big data type, base data type. Yes object means maybe any object defined inside your Salesforce organization. Maybe account, student, double underscore C, employee, double underscore C, medical, underscore, store, double underscore C. These are objects in my organization. So with this, I can create any variable. So on these names, account variable supports account record, assign in the account record. So I'll write a query in a SQL or SOSL, and I'll get the data, and I can assign to these variables. Okay. And user defined or system defined class type. For example, I created, so this is the class. So with this class name, I'm defining a variable that is nothing but object only. Okay, instance of the class variable. That is the thing. And the list set map. So variables with multiple values of the same type. Okay. So location name will be same. All values location name will be same here. So in a variable I can put more than one value. So with the help of list set map that is possible. Okay. So whereas the list allows duplicates, set doesn't allow duplicates, map is a pair of key values. Whereas with the help of key you can refer the values. In list with the help of index positions you can refer the values. And then conditional loops. So in Salesforce different conditional loops we can use to iterate over the same code. So you want to execute same code multiple times, you can use these conditional loops. So we have if condition, while, do while, for loop, like that. So if means what? If the condition true, one block of code execute. If not, another block of code execute. If else, okay, true or false. If true, one block, otherwise another block executes. Not both. While means, so it will have one condition and it will execute the block of code, while block code, till that condition fails. That is while loop. Same do while also, but it will check after executing one time in do while. In while it will execute after checking the condition. If the condition true, then only it will execute, otherwise not. But in do while, first it will execute, then it will check with the condition. If the condition again true, then it will again execute, otherwise not. So at least, even if the condition false, in do while at least one time that will execute that block of code. So in while that is not. That must be true, then only execute, otherwise false. The set condition. In for loop also same, just like while. So it will execute same code till that condition fails. Okay, for that condition fail purpose, we'll use a setup incrementer, decrementer things we'll use. So after some time that must be failed. So because unlimited number of times you cannot execute a block of code, infinite number of times. So that's why you must use incrementer, decrementer so that at a certain point of time that condition must be failed. Okay. So for loop we have three different for loops. So one is a general, the common for loop, general for loop. The other one is for SQL queries, SQL query results. And the other one is for list values, list of values or list variable. If a variable is made of list type and that has many values, to iterate over those list of values you will use for loop. If you are querying an database object, database table, and you are getting list of records in a SQL query, and to iterate over that query results, you will use for loop. The syntax will be like this: for single variable on one side, colon, that SQL query on other side. This is the for loop syntax. So whatever the block to be commonly executed for all the query results that you will mention here, query block, for loop block, code block. So this is the for loop. Okay. So these are the conditional loops we have in Salesforce. To test that SQL query or SYSL query, Salesforce object query language statements, Salesforce object search language statements. So in Salesforce you can use a developer console. So in developer console there is a section query builder. So in query builder you can so type the query and you can test it there. You can test whether that works or not. Otherwise you can use Workbench tool. Workbench tool, this is a third party application. So you can use this tool. This is online application. Using that you can build the query easily. So for that, Workbench force.com Workbench. That is the URL developer.workbench.developerforce.com. Okay. So API version, current API version appears. So this is the current version of Salesforce Apex and Visual Force. And so if you want to work in other versions, these are other versions you can select. Okay, so in which environment you want to log in? So production sandbox environment, log into Salesforce. Sorry.
Sir? Yeah, I hear that ant migration tool, Jira, these are also comes with under.
Yeah, in those are related to deployment and migration tool, those things. Deployment. So this is for query testing, query building purpose. So you can use. Select the object on which you are writing query. For example, one object I am taking. So which columns data to be retrieved from that object, related records. So select all those object fields. Using control you can select. Okay, so your query is built now. You want to sort the data. So in proper order you can sort the data. In ascending order, A to Z means ascending, Z to A means descending. You can see here descending. DES. Nulls first, nulls last. Null values. If any null values there for that field, so those will be placed in the last
At the end.
at the end. So maximum number of records. Though it returns, it can return thousands of records. You can limit that to whatever the number you are mentioning. 100 or below 100. If actually below 100 are there, only 100 below 100 that exact limit will be displayed, available records. If more than 100, though it is having more than 100, only 100, maximum 100 will be displayed. That is the thing, and like that you can build the SQL query. Select commas separated with columns separated with commas. From which object to that object. So you can write query on one object only at a time. So these many records. These many records with that query and the selected columns. Account number, source, and whatever those things. You want to build the SYSL query, so that will be different appearance, everything. And the query starts with find what, in which objects, in return which fields to be returned. Their API names. If you want to perform the search operation on other object, from that other object which fields, if found, otherwise no issue. If found, then only. Like that. That is the SYSL query. Find particular key term in all fields. That all fields, other than that all fields. Can you hear me?